And muted. Oh damn, that's the water priest. All right, shalom. Yahba Shemya Shabragatha to the brothers, Yah Shemal the Thumb, Shemya Shah to the sisters. This is the Tuesday night brotherhood class. This is the ISUPK, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yana, where we teach so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians the truth about the Bible, the truth about themselves, that they are the Israelites written of in the Bible, God's chosen people, man. And this is the Tuesday night brotherhood class where I teach you how to love your brother, love yourself, follow the new commandment that Jesus Christ gave unto us to love. So like, what is it, brother? To love your brother as yourself.
Right.
To love your brother, man. That's what the brotherhood class is about. I'm going to show you that. And I'm going to show you how to love brothers in the world. I'm going to show you how to love it. And that actually starts with something that is going to be a culture shock. It means you're going to have to hate somebody else.
Right.
So you're going to have to hate somebody else you love. Somebody else you love. So black people subconsciously, they love their oppressor, man. And I'm going to show you something tonight. I'm going to show you a few things tonight on reasons why you should not love your oppressor. First one being, God doesn't love your oppressor. Let me get Romans 9 and 13. It's just a little warm up. We'll run through this one real fast. And I got a lot of videos queued up. There's a brother. He probably is dead, and that's just, and my heart aches for the brother because he is a man who's done nothing wrong. He's done nothing wrong. And I'm going to get that later. But the brother, there's a brother who's been sentenced to death row, and millions of people and hundreds of thousands of people have done all they can to try to stop it. Even me, Calcazar, I've signed a petition. I called the governor. I did what I could to try to save the brother's life. And yet and still, our oppressor slays him. Go ahead and get that.
The book of Romans, chapter 9 and verse 13. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated.
This is the beginning of being a free man.
Right.
Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. This is the beginning of being a free man. Tonight's lesson is you gotta love them YNs. You know them young niggas they be talking about with the blickies and the straps.
Right.
And this lesson is for those young niggas as well. You think your op is your brother. It is not your brother. Your op is, who is it? Who is God's op? Who does God hate?
Esau have I hated.
Brother, that's who God's ops are. I slide on God's ops.
Right.
You know, spiritually.
Right.
I spiritually slide on God's ops. Every week I go to war against God's ops. God's ops are my ops. And whoever God loves, that's who I love. That's why I love you. I love all blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians because of these laws written in the Bible, man. And I'm going to show you why you need to love your brother too. I'm going to show you why you need to follow God's laws too. All right. Let me get this first video.
So, like, while you're getting it, can I bring a precept?
Of course.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 19 and verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him.
Now, that's a beautiful precept. Would you like to break it down?
If I could.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is just showing that your brother or your neighbor is your brother. Your neighbor is the one that comes from your nation, the one that looks like you, the one that, went through the same captivity and the hardship that you went through under the same oppressor as you. Salakia.
That's a fact. That's an exact fact and interpretation. That's what that verse is saying. Your brother, you're to love. This is an Old Testament commandment. What? This is the Old Testament, right?
Damn right.
This isn't some new. You know what they think the love of Jesus Christ is? You gotta share it with everybody else. You gotta spread it around. You gotta love East Indians. You gotta take your hat off for that Chinese man that just opened the store on the corner of your block who hates you. And it's always you gotta love the people who hate you, isn't it?
Right.
That's not what the Bible is saying. The Bible and Jesus Christ was saying that you need to love your neighbor who is your people. You need to love him. That's who you don't love.
Right.
You don't love the dude who kids be stomping up above you in the apartment complex. You hate them. Throwing a damn near breaking a hole in the ceiling. Boom, 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 boom.
Right.
Y'all give it up. You hate them because of some black kids that look like yours. You hate your brother because of what, $20, $40, $1,000. You hate your brother because of that, brother? I wouldn't hate. When I show you the things that this devil has done and does to us, I couldn't trade my brother for $1,000.
Right.
He could get it. He could have the $1,000. I will require his soul. I will require his loyalty and allegiance to black people, though. But outside of that, you good. That don't matter. But this is the love that Jesus Christ talked about. The Christian church can never teach you that. They teach you, in fact, the opposite. You gotta love everybody white, hate black people if they're poor, hate black people if they're thuggish, hate black people if you don't like their vibe. When Jesus Christ said you should love them, right here in Leviticus, it said you should love them, and you, let's say you got a little reason to not love them. Well, you rebuke them. The rebuke, you go talk to that neighbor upstairs. Hey, yeah, I ain't like that. I ain't like how your kids run around. Can you keep it down for me? You otherwise and rebuke your brother. You go talk to your brother. You go talk to that brother wearing a different color flag or whatever the case might be on the phone or on live. You know what they do on live? They antagonize each other when you could do so much more. You could do something that our oppressor would hate instead of something that he enjoys. You could try to forgive your brother. That sounds like I'm speaking another language. I know. Look, I wouldn't. I'm gonna get very personal tonight. I ain't selling y'all nothing I ain't done myself. All right, you're gonna have to forgive your brother. You say you love black people, you love black women, all this, all that. If you're not a derelict, if you're not beyond saving, you want Jesus Christ to save you when you get locked up or when the bullets start flying. Brother, you better start moving like you want to be saved before the bullets start flying.
Right.
Before you get locked up. You better act like that beforehand. And that involves you actually doing some actions that are in Christ's message. You got to forgive your brother. You're going to have to talk to him and be like, yeah, you did kill my cousin. You did kill my cousin. And I want to kill you. I want to kill you. I want to shoot you. I want to shoot your baby mama and your children, but I'm not going to do that because then there will be none of us left. That's eye for an eye if you want to get that.
Right.
There will be none of us left if we all slid on all the black people who ever did anything slightly wrong against us. There's a black man who a lot of this don't really even add up to proper revenge or proper justice. It's really a lot of emotionalness, a lot of rage and a lot of anger you have inside of you because you're poor. And you're poor not because of that black person who stepped on your sneaker, not because of that black person who disrespected you or did such and such thing or started a gang 5 blocks away from you. You're not poor because of them. You're poor because of somebody else. It's a whole nother race of people. You want to read that?
Okay, I got it right here. The book of Matthew, chapter 5, and verse 38. Ye have heard that it hath been said, an eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth. 39. But I say unto you, that ye resist not evil, but whosoever shall smite thee on thy right cheek, turn to him the other also.
This is what Jesus Christ was talking about. My YNs, my young niggas. Everybody want to crash out. Everybody who want to crash out. Would you know that their heart is broken? Kodak Black talks about that a lot. Kodak Black, he's he's murdered a few people, right? You know what he talks about? He don't really talk about the anger. He don't talk about that. He talks about the sadness. He talks about how really this, he wishes it could be different than what it is. And that's something you're gonna have to think of before you go out against your brother, man. You're gonna have to think about forgiving him. You're gonna have to think about something hard to do. A real nigga can forgive. It's a powerful thing to forgive somebody. And I'm not saying like spiritually proud. I mean, you're stronger than the other person. You're less emotional. You're more in control of yourself. That's what I mean by strength. You have a greater strength if you can forgive your brother. Because as long as we both draw breath, there's a bit of a chance left for both of us. That's all you want. That's all I want. All I want is another chance. All I want is something else than what's been laid out before me. And all that's been laid before Blacks, Hispanics, and Natives is jail, trafficking, prostitution, drug dealing, and dying in a ditch somewhere. I don't want that for me. I don't want that for my kids. If you have the joy of having a child, you look on their face, you should imagine and pray that they have something better. Well, how the hell are they going to get anything better if it don't start with you? And that starts with forgiving. You got to forgive yourself sometimes. Forgive yourself for some of the evils you do. Forgive your mother, forgive your father, but you got to do it. You got to talk to your brother. You got to rebuke your brother. You got to rebuke, hey, it was wrong what you did. It was wrong what we doing. It's wrong what this. It's wrong that we're dealing drugs. It's wrong that we're doing drugs to try to escape the pain of our poverty. It's wrong that we're living our life this way. It's wrong. And try to then begin again. Be born again, like Christ said. Now I'm going to get into who you should hate. This is going to actually help you fuel the forgiveness, fuel the strength to forgive your brother. If you just see who hurts your brother and hurt you, then you will know that your brother deserves forgiveness because you deserve it too. You deserve it. Christ said you deserve it. I'm not one above my Lord. My Lord said, look, y'all, he fought for it. Brothers and sisters, I pray you fight for it. These are the type of people who would persecute us and lie on us. They would lay a trap in wait for us, and when we fall into it, then they would insult us and say it's our fault. I'm gonna show you a clip right now that's going viral on the internet, and I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna break down the real truth behind it versus what he would like to present. Okay, let me see if I can get this up better light.
Who am I debating? Am I debating here? Am I?
Your own government pumping drugs.
Yeah. So
I want to make a quick.
You're
point.
right. Black Americans are in prison far greater than the percentage of the population. So Black Americans are about 13 to 14% of the population.
Yes.
About half of all prisoners are Black.
Exactly.
So Blacks commit more crimes than whites do. They commit more murders. They commit more.
Now, if you are just, if you're somebody who just didn't know better, right? If you're somebody who didn't understand the world that we really live in, you would believe this. You would believe this slanderous lie that's coming out of this snake's mouth. You would believe that they are. This is true. Black people are just more violent. We're 13% of the population, but we commit over half of the violent crime in the country. You will believe that, but brothers and sisters, that's just not true. Let me get the rest of the clip.
Arsons, they commit more kidnappings. For example, Blacks are 13% of the population and they commit 58% of all the murders. That's not a war on drugs. That's a culture problem.
Okay, so let's talk about that culture. Black people have been legislatively subjugated up until 1965. I'll give it, honestly, it's later, but let's just.
I'm gonna leave that alone, but that's really the clip right there. All right, brothers and sisters. Black people, they commit more crime. Black people, we commit more crime. We're a smaller population. That's not a war on drugs problem, which is his way of saying that's not over policing. That's a cultural problem. No, it is a culture problem, but it's not our culture. It's the culture that our oppressor gave us, man.
Right.
Let me get what is it? Wisdom of Solomon 10:2.
If I may.
Go ahead.
It's interesting that he's making that conclusion that black people make up, what do you say, 13% of the population, but they commit 55% of violent crimes.
Right.
His people is the one that's, first of all, that statistic I'm sure is based on conviction, and his people controls the narrative of who gets convicted. So to your point, like, their people, who was convicted for the transatlantic slave trade, for the buying and selling of slaves? Who was convicted for the Trail of Tears?
Right.
Nobody. Who was convicted for Jim Crow? Who was convicted for the lynchings that went on back in the 16 to 1700s and still go on to this day? I think they just found a brother who was just hanging from a tree just yesterday.
Right.
Who was convicted for that? Nobody. You know what I mean? You look at the police brutality and when brothers get unalived at the hand of police, who's getting convicted? They're not getting convicted. They're getting paid leave, and then they get to go and get reemployed at another precinct across town.
Damn right.
They're not getting convicted. You know what I mean? So they're controlling the narrative. Salakia.
No, I'm gonna give you a hand because you're exactly right. That's exactly where I was going next with that. Because they don't hold themselves when they are the murderer, when they're the drug dealer.
Right.
They don't go to court. This is their society. Why would they call themselves guilty?
Right.
When they can create their own bad man. They can create their own evildoer. Damn, let me get a Damn, I need that. This, you know, this precept.
What is it?
You know, all unrighteousness is like from. Never mind. Don't worry about it. Let me get Solomon, the Wisdom of Solomon 2:10. Actually, it's right. Or 2:1. I think it's 2:1. Yeah, 2:1. Let me get that. This is. I'm gonna tell you something. It's easy to believe you're the Black, Hispanic, and Native. It's easy to believe. This is a part of the depression that we feel. We believe that we're supposed to be gangbangers, drug dealers, and pimps, and whores, and worthless. That's what we believe because this oppressor tells us that. But that is not actually true.
Right.
That's who they are, and they're trying to put that covering, that title onto us, and it just does not fit, brothers and sisters. It does not fit. Your Blacks, Hispanics, and Natives are the kindest, most righteous, and caring people on planet Earth, and that's just a fact. Oftentimes we have to kill the light inside of ourselves to deal drugs or go strip on a pole or do this or do that. When for white people, that's like a Wednesday.
Right.
They feel no remorse. They feel nothing at all. I'm gonna tell you something. And the root, the source of all of this is our oppressor. You want to talk about violent crimes? Where do these guns come from?
Right.
You want to talk about drugs and all that? Yeah, most of these drugs come from our oppressor. And if they come from Colombia or something like that, who incentivized Colombians to even cultivate cocaine on a mass production scale? That's your Iran-Contra scandal. White people took money to Colombia, paid Colombians to make drugs. Then they flew the drugs to our ghetto, sold those drugs to Black people, then kept moving that money back to the Colombians. That's not Colombians. That's oppressors. That's Caucasians. That's your CIA. That's your FBI. They're the real drug dealer.
Right.
They're the real murderer. This is not us, brother. This is not us. It's like you're blaming yourself because you fell into a trap. It's not your fault. It's who laid the trap for you. Who laid the trap for us? And that's what I'm trying to teach you here tonight, man. And you might blame yourself for thinking you're stupid for just falling into the trap. Right now, kids is smoking whippets and galaxy gas.
Right.
I don't blame these brothers. They took everything from these men. Everything from these men, brother. I know. I like to think of myself as a brother who, I know a little bit. I'm pretty smart, right? I didn't have, you know what it is, what a mind is with no guidance? It's nothing. It's nothing at all. And now, whatever guides you, whether it be a rap video or some illustrious dumb dream of being a rapper, a sports star, or whatever the case, that's going to be your dad now. That's going to be your guidance now. Because you don't know how to navigate this society tells you that you're a criminal. You've done no crime, so now all you're looking to do is go do a crime.
Right.
This society tells you you're a vagrant, you're violent, you're hateful, and you're not that. So now you go mold yourself to become that, man. You might think that you're dumb for falling into that trap. Dumb in the future, these children, they'll think they're dumb for doing whippets. Lord willing, they survive. But you're not dumb, brother. You're just prey for this oppressor. Go ahead and get that.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2 and verse 1. For the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright. Our life is short and tedious, and in the death of a man there is no remedy. Neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave. Verse 2.
Look. This oppressor that we have above us, they don't respect life, and they don't respect it because they can't live forever. How selfish do you have to be for that? They don't respect their own lives. Why would they respect yours? You know what a white man will do? His stocks will crash. He'll go shoot his entire family in the face, and then he'll jump off of a building.
Right.
With no regard for his life, because he's afraid of getting that much closer to poverty as we are, as we live in our day-to-day life. Well, brother, how much stronger are you than him? You don't shoot your you don't shoot your wife in the face or your babies in the face because you don't got no money. Brother, you struggle on. You soldier on, and that's something I'm going to do my best to try to educate you and show you on. Blacks, Hispanics, and Natives have nothing to be ashamed about in this country. Nothing at all. You're the best thing that's ever happened to this planet as well as this country. And brothers, all you got to do now is just shape up a little bit. All we got to do is shape up and get back on track. Get back into pocket. We came out of pocket a little bit. We fell by the wayside a little bit. Right out of slavery, our families and all that, they were higher than our slave masters, higher than the crime was absolutely rock bottom low. But you know what they had to do? They had to come back into our towns and burn them down over and over again. They had to include segregation. Now you can't run away from their oppression into your black town. Now you got to go to their town to go to school. Now you have to suffer their oppression. There's no way to get around it. And you create a thought pattern to where you believe that these people are nice. That not all of them are racist. Not all of them are bad. You want to know something that happened to me just today. The Most High is a beautiful Lord. He told me, like, these white kids are walking home. I'm over here fiddling with some my smoker. I got an electric smoker I'm messing with outside. I hear like some kids screaming. I didn't know they were white until the conversation developed. And it seemed like a sister ran away from a brother teasing him, saying, I'm gonna lock you out. It sounded very mean. And I was like, oh, okay, well, whatever. They're kids. They just tease, That's how kids are. The boy, the brother, he's down the street yelling. He's like, no, you're not. You're a liar. You're a liar. You're a lying nigger. He said, you're a lying nigger 3 times. I'm at the smoker like, this is amazing. I said, this is absolutely amazing. It's 2024, and you know what the Democratic Party wants to believe simultaneously? They want to believe that racism is still very prevalent, but it ain't really here at all. I'm gonna tell you something. Racism is all around us. You know what our oppressor is raising their children to do? Exactly what they've always done. What are we raising our children to do? That's why I've been going in on sisters so hard as well, Kalkazai. And I'm never gonna stop. I'm never gonna get off of sisters' neck. I'm actually enjoying it here. I'm enjoying my I think it just lost connection. I'm enjoying my position here because black women, love it or hate it, black women are in charge of most black families. And you know what that means? Black women are in charge of most of the black community because the community is made up of nothing but families. So if you see these children and you're threatened by them, you should look at their mother. Their mother helped them to get there. And that's why I go so hard on sisters, because I want them to be educated so I don't have to talk to these young children, these little brothers, these young niggas, these YNs with ski masks and switches on their hips, ready to crash out behind anything. I don't have to talk to them. I could have sooner just went to a responsible adult. But now I have to go to the children and educate the children because the parents refuse to. Brothers and sisters and men, irresponsible men as well. This is something that cannot continue. This is the last time. This is the last time. The Bible says this is there's not much time left. This is something we have to fix, and we have to fix it soon in our communities for our own sakes. Not just think about the present. Think about you're so present minded, you're so presently worried about your bills, presently worried about if you'll be able to pay for the rent, have this or have that. Well, presently think of presently think of these children as well while you presently think about the rent. Presently think about how your actions today will affect the future. And that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about our future. I see you twerking online, and I know you got kids. I know your kids are gonna grow up to disrespect and hate women. I know that your daughters will not respect themselves and they'll degrade themselves to get followers and likes, and they'll eventually try to be rich from our OnlyFans, or they'll do something less destructive but equally so. They'll hate the men who they lay down and create life with, and then they'll go on to teach other women to hate black men and love white men or something like that. Equally dangerous. This is a reason why I go in on sisters. So like it. Let me see what's in the chat. Yeah, damn right. Ooh. I'm gonna get to Marcellus, sister. I'm gonna get to Marcellus. Now, this is where my brother Marcellus Williams comes into play. Because of our oppressor's belief that we are so violent and we are so hateful, which is a belief that he created in his own mind. You got to trace that all the way back to before they even put us on those boats. And then when they got us, they thought we were dangerous before, on the boat, and after the boat. They thought that they said it, what's the quote? It says, I forgot who said it, but I believe it was a founding father. He said, we have the wolf by the neck and we can either hold him any longer or let him go. And that was in reference to the slaves. They thought of us as the most dangerous thing to them. They thought that we were going to, if they freed us, we would destroy them. And then they thought if they kept us any longer, we would outpopulate them and destroy them still. And that's a part of the reason why they were so harsh to us. But because of that thought pattern back into slavery, it leads into a brother dying today innocently. It leads into these false crime statistics. There's a brother who's about to be locked away right now, who's about to be deleted. He's about to be unalived and killed right now, if he hasn't already passed away. My heart goes out to the brother for nothing, for something he didn't do. He did not do the crime. They're about to kill him because what? Because he's black. Let me get the video for you right now.
Attorneys say previous court rulings came before this latest revelation.
When the trial prosecutor was subjected to cross-examination, he admitted unequivocally.
The state of Missouri will carry out the execution of death row inmate Marcellus Williams tomorrow night. A last-minute appeal played out in the state's highest court today. Fox 2's Jeff Bernthal reports from Jefferson City, where attorneys for both sides made their case before the
brothers and sisters have been trying to get this brother off of death row, where numerous people, numerous articles of evidence, the blood, the DNA didn't match. He's accused of a murder. The DNA didn't match. The prosecutor admitted that race was at play when they picked the jurors. The jury regrets giving him the death row sentence, or holding him guilty. The victims of the family, they admit that Marcellus Wallace, he's not the killer. But the governor of the state of Missouri, he's going to kill Marcellus Williams if he hasn't already. If he has not already, he's going. There's a whole timer on the internet. The governor is holding out, and his excuse is, I've gone over this case so many times. I'm sick of it. It is what it is. Whatever y'all did, that's what we're doing. And now millions, hundreds of thousands of people have called his office. Millions have signed a petition to try to save this innocent man's life. But you know what? He can't do that. The governor can't do that. You want to know why? Because in the governor's mind, he believes that there's a chance Marcellus did do it. I mean, black people, they are 13% of the population. They do commit over 50% of the violent crime in the country, right? So maybe Marcellus did do it. This is the hatred and indignation that our oppressor has for us. This is why it's important to teach you that in this brotherhood class, this class where I try to encourage and teach the love that Jesus Christ taught, teach you that you are to love black people and to love them above everybody else. Love them above your oppressor, your state representative, whoever it may be, man. You're supposed to love your common black, Hispanic, and Native man. Because if not, if we don't get our community together and get back to what it should be like, we should be a insular society. An insular society. You see the Hasidic Jews in New York, the police in New York, they damn near work for them. That's what it should be like in our communities. The police should not be able to run up and down our block because we have no self-control. No matter the poverty, no matter the heartbreak, black people, we need to get back to where we're supposed to be at, which is the most kind and loving people on the planet. And that's going to take a lot of forgiveness. Women are going to have to forgive black men for whatever you're mad about. Black men, you're going to have to forgive black women, whatever you're upset about. And we're going to have to work hard. We're going to have to do something. We're going to have to do like the slaves who got out of bondage in the 1800s. We're going to have to do it like that, man. Otherwise, we're going to continue to see more brothers go to death row. A lot of brothers are just locked up indefinitely on false charges. And that's just the truth. But until we get a mindset of people who only have themselves, again, we'll never be able to do that. We'll never be able to do that because we believe that there is some alternate way out of poverty, or an alternate way out of the ghetto. You think you could hoop and ball your way out of the ghetto? You're still no matter where you go, you're still a nigga.
Right.
Who's that dude who got beat up by the police in Florida? That football player. That's it. He thought he was somebody. You know who I am? They don't care who you are.
Right.
They found out when he was wrestling you to the ground and you were asking for him to be easy on your injured knee. I got a knee injury. His police buddy cop was like, "Oh yeah, you know who that is? That's so and so." He was like, "Oh, for real? Oh, that's crazy. Get on the ground." XYZ. Because they don't really care about you, brother. And they don't care about us because we think of ourselves as individuals when we should think of ourselves as a community again. We should think of ourselves again. I hear all the time Black women talk about, well, why do I gotta do that for a Black man? Why do I need to do all this, all that? He ain't paying this, he ain't doing that, he ain't doing this, he ain't doing that. You should do it for your damn children.
Right.
You should do it so your child does not inhale CO2 so he can freeze his brain cells. You should do it so your daughter isn't a stripper or an OnlyFans model. You should do it for that. That's why you should listen to a man. I'm gonna tell you something. It'll be even trade. I'm gonna tell you something. You're gonna be poor single. That's another thing that also eludes me, because why are we always fighting about money, but we're afraid to get together? If you made $40 a week and we were roommates, that's $40 more for the whole house. What are we tripping about? You value riches too much. We're never gonna be rich. Not like this. We're not willing to do the hard work. We got to do some hard decision making. Marcellus Williams, this brother, he is a brother who is a victim of a community that is broken. The police picked him up, and we weren't together enough before it became too late. We weren't together enough before it was too late, man. And that's what breaks my heart, because we could be like that. I'll tell you some stories out of slavery. They used to try to trump up a brother on charges like this. Sometimes he'd do them. Oppressor would walk in a man's house during the Rosewood days, come in and try to do something to his sister. A Black boy or a Black man would stand up and defend his household. And you know what all the Black community would do? They would give him money and send him somewhere else in the country to save his life. And he would change his name and start a new life. That's the Black community protecting itself. Now what is it? Now it's now, unless it's a social media trend, there are so many Marcel Williams that are not trending. Unless it's a social media trend, nobody even cares.
Right.
I give a damn, no matter if it's trending or not. I give a damn if it's not the fucking presidential race or not. That's what I give a damn. I give a damn 365 every year. You only care when it's on your cell phone screen. You got to do the hard work when put the cell phone down. Put the cell phone down. Give me Zechariah 11. Yeah. Put the cell phone down and look around your house, your apartment, and ask yourself, are my children's father in here? Is my children's mother in here? Why isn't she here? Why isn't he here? What can I do to alleviate that? What went wrong? How can I fix that? How can I be it? Then you go in the bathroom and you look in the mirror and you go ask yourself, how can I be better for these children? How can I be better for my community if I have no children? How can I stop being everything my oppressor thinks that I am?
Right.
And you might just find yourself a righteous man. You might find yourself a righteous woman. You gotta understand that. Go ahead and read what you got.
It's the book of Zechariah, chapter 11, verse 5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich. And their own shepherds pity them not.
Yeah, let me get you a call back after the class is over, please. All right. Damn right. Shalom to Christ. All right. Let me tell you something. Our possessors do not pity us, man. They slay us and they don't hold themselves guilty. This governor is about to kill an innocent man, and he don't give a damn. He don't give a damn. He says it's like killing a guilty man. It's about the same thing. The only people who really care are real people. real compassionate people, man. We got something in the comments or anything?
A lot, nothing in the comments. If I could,
Go ahead.
That I'm sure that's not gonna go into the count of who does the most violent crimes as well.
No, it's not. That's another thing. If I counted all the police killings of unarmed innocent blacks and Hispanics, if I counted the bricks of cocaine moved by your senators, the children trafficked by political and private citizens.
Good night.
If I counted all those crimes, brother, we would be a small sliver,
right,
to what this oppressor does.
Right. If I could.
But they don't hold themselves guilty. Go ahead.
Well, Salakia, just to add to it, if we counted the 700 cities that they burned to the ground.
Jesus Christ.
Salakia.
Yeah, dead brother. If we counted that sin, we don't pay attention to their sins. We listen to what they tell us. They tell us to hyper focus on everything we do wrong. No, brother. We don't do nothing wrong that they haven't laid in front of us. They haven't laid in front of us. And if we live our life fine, if we live our life just, well, you still have the off chance of being killed by the police. You still have the off chance of being killed by the justice system.
Right.
Being locked down for something you did not do. You would think it's different, wouldn't you? You think this is slavery so long ago, all that so long ago. No, it was this century. And no, it's this century and the last century and the century before that. Lynchings are still going on. You got innocent men being prosecuted for crimes a white man did, like my brother Marcellus here. This is the pain that blacks, Hispanics, and natives have to suffer. This is the pain that we got to suffer because we won't do the hard thing. We want to believe the propaganda. We believe in integration and all that. You know, with Martin Luther King, he changed his mind on integration. We want to believe that integration and voting and all this will eventually lead to a solution for all of us. It won't. It won't.
Right.
I just told you a story about the new generation of racism. That's what I was laughing about. I said, damn, it's 2024. Damn, the new batch here already. He had to be in elementary, Calcazar. He wasn't in middle school. He had to be in elementary.
Damn.
I was absolutely amazed. Let me get the rest of this news video.
State's High Court.
In addition to the efforts here at the Missouri Supreme Court in Jefferson City, attorneys for Williams are also pleading to the United States Supreme Court. Marcellus Williams has maintained his innocence. He was convicted of the 1998 murder of former St. Louis Post-Dispatch reporter Felicia Gale. Investigators said Gale was stabbed 43 times inside her University City home. Prosecutors argued Williams stole a laptop and other items. A lack of DNA evidence raised doubts. A board of inquiry established by then-Governor Eric Greitens was tasked with examining the case, but was dissolved under current Governor Mike Parson, prompting an appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court that Williams was denied due process. On Monday, attorneys for Williams argued before the Missouri Supreme Court that the prosecutor at trial struck a juror because they were black.
He said the quiet part.
So basically, he was denied at many points and turns. Marcellus, he was denied justice. He was going to get a special counsel to examine the merit of his case under the old governor, but when the new governor came in, he dissolved that. And then the prosecutor over his case even admitted that, hey, look, there was a black man, there was a juror a potential juror for his trial that was black. And the prosecutor said, no, I don't want him on there because he is black.
Mm.
He might have sympathy for Marcellus.
Good night.
He might see Marcellus as himself. That, along with the lack of DNA evidence, the DNA did not match, excuse me. Not that there was a lack of DNA, but the DNA on the crime scene did not match Marcellus's DNA. All these things made everybody involved eventually believe that this is an innocent man. But nobody cares. Nobody cares about Marcellus. You know how much I care about Marcellus. I only love black women. That's how much I love Marcellus. I am going to raise a big black family, and I'm going to protect them from drugs that the oppressor ships into my community. I'm going to protect them from government oversight and government propaganda and falsehoods to make them believe that this world is any different than what it was when we first came out of slavery.
Right.
That's how much I love Marcellus. I'm going to do something crazy. I'm going to do something radical. I'm going to believe in a black God. I'm going to believe in Jesus Christ and live my life righteously. I'm going to do what Christ said. I'm going to love my brother. I'm going to love my sister as myself. And I'm not talking about the governor. I'm not talking about the person who was going to put the serum in Marcellus's veins. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about my brother. I'm talking about people who look like Marcellus.
Right.
People who are related to Marcellus. That's who I'm going to love, like Christ said.
Right.
That's who I'm going to love. I'm going to love my neighbor. I'm going to do something radical. I got to do something radical. Because we've been doing this for how long and ain't nothing changed. I got to make a change. Because when are black people are any black people out there that are going to change? I'm not telling you to hurt nobody. I'm just telling you to love somebody. I'm telling you to love somebody who needs it.
Right.
Oh, oppressor don't need any love.
Right.
He's had enough. But now who needs it? Black people need love. Haitians need some love. Donald Trump lying on them on the debate stage, talking about they eating cats. Haitians need love. Blacks, Hispanics, and natives, they need love, man. They need some love because they've been hurt for so long. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do something radical. I'm going to love the people who are loved the least.
Right. My
people. God's people. That's who I'm going to love. You finished with that, Zachariah? You got more?
That's it on that.
I'm going to get back. I'm going to finish the rest of the video.
He admitted that there was actually a racial component here, and that is unconstitutional.
Williams' attorneys say previous court rulings came before this latest.
Now, brother, when you hear unconstitutional, you're thinking, oh, that's unfair. No, you need to think illegal. That's illegal. You cannot infringe somebody's constitutional rights if they're a sovereign citizen of the United States. But black people, we're not really citizens. We're faux citizens. We're fake citizens.
Right.
We're second, third, fourth class citizens. Marcellus had so many things done in his case. Some of them illegal. Some of them you can't do. The governor said, well, I don't give a damn. Just kill him anyways. Kill him anyways. Give him lethal injection anyways.
Good night.
Revelation.
When the trial prosecutor was subjected to cross-examination, he admitted unequivocally that he struck a juror in part because he was a young black man with glasses.
Let me correct some things. The prosecutor was not cross-examined. He was their witness. He was examined on this point on direct.
An attorney for the state argued there's not enough evidence to delay the execution and that the prosecutor's words were taken out of context.
What did he say when asked directly, did you strike someone partially, was part of your reason for striking someone because he was black? He said, no, absolutely not.
St. Louis County Prosecutor Wesley Bell, who was not the prosecutor at the time of Williams' conviction, has raised questions not only about the conviction, but also about his guilt. Reported from Jefferson City, Jeff Bernthal, Fox 2 News.
Hi, everyone.
All right, man. Look, that's what we get here. In let me select here. That's what blacks and Hispanics have to suffer here in America. Okay, that's just the facts. At one point, the prosecutor, he admitted that he was black or whatever. Due to repressuring to change that answer so that the judgment stayed, he had to say otherwise. But the prosecutor did admit that he did not believe that the man was guilty. That's just the cold hard facts. All right, let me get Obadiah 1 and 3. I'm gonna show y'all something, man. Your racism is very much alive and prevalent.
Right.
Very much. And you shouldn't even really think of it so much as racism. You should just think of it as like a common. See, we say this word racism like it's super evil, it's super big, and that's something that our oppressors did to us. You can't really think of it like that. They don't really care about. Everybody has their own. How do I say this? Every race has their own kind of stereotypes. And stereotypes are either embraced or shunned, right? What's a stereotype? Black people laugh real loud. They talk during movies.
Mm-hmm.
These things are shunned to some people. Black people, they eat watermelon and fried chicken. I love watermelon and fried chicken. Go ahead.
I was gonna say stereotype is there's a particular nation of people that shoot up schools.
Now that's exactly true. Damn, I forgot. How could I forget about school shooters, brother? These mass shooters, these school shooters, they've been going so raw. They had to include black people in the mass shootings. They include black people's drive-bys in the mass shootings. Wow. Even if they don't kill anybody.
Wow.
Because there were more than 4 or 5 people there, so we gotta call it a mass shooting. That's not equivalent to Uvalde. That's not equivalent to that elementary school. What's that elementary school?
In Georgia.
No, it was out east though. Was it in Georgia?
The most recent one?
Yeah. No, it wasn't very recent.
Okay.
Regardless, the point is, they had to equate those stats because they got to pump up the stats so this white supremacist can go on the internet and basically regurgitate a falsehood to say that black people are more violent when that's just not true. But what I'm saying is, black people, you can't get too involved. You can't get too. You can't draw back too much from the whole conversation of race. What? Do not feel any shame. Let me disconnect from the Wi-Fi. Salakia, I might have had an interruption right there. The thing is, we cannot draw away from the conversation of culture. For some reason, we think that's more of a taboo than shaking your booty on the internet. I remember that was worse than talking about other thing, but I hope we can keep talking about this thing and stop that other thing. But you gotta actually encourage it. You know what I mean? Don't believe. I'm not saying believe that all stereotypes are true. What I am saying is this: if it is in your culture, you gotta acknowledge it. Now, I'm not shunning that a lot of my brothers and sisters believe that drug dealing will make them rich. I'm trying to correct that. I'm trying to correct that misbehavior. Just like I'm not ignoring that a lot of white kids shoot up schools and shopping malls, and no matter if they're black or white, shopping malls and churches and things like that. I'm not ignoring those things. And we got to talk about those things because they're very important, right? And I'm going to talk about the cultural stereotype or the cultural belief of how white people misjudge and villainize black people. That's something that they do, right?
Right.
I can say that, right? They do that. Police, they detain and beat up innocent men, murder innocent men because they are black. So I think I can make that assessment. Now, I'm not racist for saying that. Most, white people, judges or XYZ, they do that. I'm not racist for that. They would call themselves racist for that. Let me get the video on that. They would call themselves racist, though.
Who makes life-altering decisions for families and those with disabilities, now accused of making racist comments and using shocking, derogatory language. Thank you for joining us for 7 News Detroit at 6. I'm Mike Duffy. 7 investigator Heather Catallo joins us now with more about why an Oakland County probate judge has been removed from her docket. Heather?
Mike, a high-ranking probate court official says he's been recording Judge Kathleen Ryan's statements for years. Even though probate court administrator Edward Hutton says he's been harassed by Judge Ryan, he says he does not want this to be about him. Hutton says he's coming forward now because he wants to protect the people who have to face Judge Ryan in the courtroom.
The Honorable Kathleen A. Ryan presiding.
Good morning. You may be seated.
After more than 13 years on the bench, Oakland County Chief Probate Pro Tem Judge Kathleen Ryan is out of her courtroom. Chief Probate Judge Linda Hallmark removed Judge Ryan from her docket last week, announcing that a complaint about internal allegations of unprofessional conduct was sent to the Judicial Tenure Commission. Judge Ryan was arrested in 2021 for domestic violence, but those charges were later dismissed. And now she's back in the headlines.
Well, if you're black in any other country, you're doing way better. If you're an American black person, then you're a lazy piece of.
The 7 investigators have obtained the
Now that's a stereotype that this judge, Miss Duffy, believes. She believes that stereotype. I don't think it's true. I know a lot of hardworking black men. I know a lot of hardworking black men. I don't really get out much. I ain't gonna lie. I'm an old head now. They call me Unc, Caucasian. They call me Unc. I don't get out much, but all the niggas I know, they work 50, 60 hours. They do one thing or another. Some of them got 3 jobs. Rashonda off of I Hate Chris, they wives beating Rashonda. I don't need this. My man got 3 jobs. XYZ. Now, but this judge, this highly influential and powerful figure in the Oakland area believes that niggers are, I don't think she said the N-word yet, but did she say it? It bleeped.
I didn't hear it. Lazy.
Regardless,
shit,
they said she thinks we're lazy. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true at all. But that's something you can come to yourself to believe it. Now, I don't think that's racist. It's unfounded information. That's her personal hateful belief. But that is what it is. Black people, you're gonna have to start to gather understanding of your oppressor racially on the information that they present themselves with. Now that don't make you racist. If you start to realize that, damn, what they used to say, oh damn, the white police officers sure do be searching my car illegally a lot.
Right.
Sometimes I heard that they planted evidence on my cousin. I heard that they do this. Well, brother, that's something you might have to draw to better guard your life. Look at this woman. She's a judge. What the hell? She's not an employer. What the hell does she care about if black people are lazy? If you want to be smart, if you want to love black people and love yourself, you're gonna need to draw conclusions based on demographics like, age, race, sex. You're gonna need to do that. That doesn't make you sexist, ageist, or racist. If I say that women really like the color pink, am I wrong? Am I sexist? If I say that children like toys, am I ageist?
Lie.
Well, why am I racist when I say that white people don't like black people?
If I may,
go ahead.
It's heavy what you're bringing out, because this sounds like every story that you've brought out tonight sounds like 1921. Sounds like the Jim Crow. It sounds like the early You know what I mean? The 1960s.
To Kill a Mockingbird had a
it sounds like every critical racial event in Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans line of history. But this is happening today.
Right.
Like they convicted, you know what I mean? It sounds like this brother is about to or has lost his life for something that he obviously didn't do. This happened 2 weeks ago with the two brothers who was accused of assaulting a white woman and was thrown in jail without them looking at the evidence.
I keep forgetting about that. Yeah, water.
That happened 3 weeks ago. That also happened to the Central Park Five. That also happened to Emmett Till. That's been happening. That's also the reason why those 700 cities in America those 700 Black cities in America were burned down.
Right.
So just to your point, for you to racially profile these people who have over centuries have done the same thing habitually, that doesn't make you racist. That makes you observant.
Right.
You can see what's right in front of you.
Right.
That just makes you observant. Salakia.
Hey, I'm gonna give that a hand. You gotta pay attention to your surroundings. That's the only way to be safe, man. I know, white people, I'm gonna tell you something. They make jokes about this. They see a YN or they see a young Black man, he might even be well dressed, don't got the shiesty on. He coming down the same street as a white man or a white woman, they gonna cross the street if you don't.
Right.
What is that? They believe their racial observations. They believe them. They're unfounded and untrue, but they believe them. Why don't we believe ours when ours are founded? When ours have evidence of mistreatment, misjustice. A brother had evidence. You could have evidence of your innocence. It wouldn't matter.
Right.
That's what he just said. A brother got locked up because he had a little freak off with the neighborhood hussy. She was white. She called the police the next morning because she regretted it. And he had evidence of his innocence the moment of the arrest and told that to the police. They didn't care. They locked him up. They both got fired from the positions. And now they got to sue to try to get something back.
Right.
Well, brother, there's so many ways to beat that. First off, you don't do. Why are you even getting down with a white woman?
Right.
Freak offs is way off. You're wilding. But that's the point. That's how they will treat us. That's how they do treat us. And this judge is just another example. Of course, this isn't. When did this story come out? Do you think it was 1970? Do you think this story came out in 1960 or 1950? It came out in 2024. This judge talking about how she's a new racist. I'm going to get the rest of it.
Recordings that county officials say prompted Judge Ryan's removal.
Oh, Jesus. I have no use for him.
She's made it a living hell in the past 6 years. I mean, it's been terrible. It's cost me relationships. I think it's affected my health. Can't sleep.
Attorney.
That boy, she was trying to rape him. Boy, that's crazy. That's a judge. That's a female judge. That's crazy, boy. Hey, I ain't got a horse in the race. All right, let me get some more of these audio recordings.
Willing to testify to the authenticity of every single one of them.
I can honestly say that. Okay, I'm not systemically racist. I'm a new racist.
Now, this is a judge, right? This is a judge presiding in the courts of America saying that she's not systemically racist. She is, in fact, an arm of the system. Officer Calgazai, look, I am a part of the system of the ISUPK, but you can't get no help over here. I'm not systemically hating you. I'm just hating you. That right. I'm gonna tell all my friends not to help you either. No, you are systemically racist.
Right.
And also this speaks to the low IQ of these people. I mean, of this woman. Excuse me. Let me say that right. This woman thinks that she can embody herself as a system. No, you are a part of this system. That's what we mean when we say systemic racism. The system didn't start or stop with you. It started with the police officer who brought that man into the court. You're in the middle, and it's gonna end with hopefully with just the jail cell you're about to put him in, which we know you are. That's why we had to get you off the damn seat. And these judges like this, and governors like this, and presidents like this are why our people are just where we are. That's who you need to hate. You don't need to hate your ops on the block. You don't need to hate your sister. You don't need to hate your brother. You don't need to hate your baby mama, your baby daddy. You don't need to hate none of them. You don't need to hate your manager. Let me roll that one back. You don't need to hate blacks, Hispanics, and natives.
Right.
You need to hate this. You need to hate this environment that we are born in. You need to hate it enough to change. And that's what I've done. That's what we've done in the Israelite school of UPK. We've hated our oppression. We've hated our captivity enough to change. Blacks, Hispanics, natives, are you going to continue to believe that you're not a slave? Are you going to continue to believe that you are equal to this woman? You think you can battle this woman? You think you can execute your rights as a citizen against this? You are not a citizen. You are a captive in a world that they've created around you. Now, I just pray we don't fall fool to the traps laid before us. I pray that we come together enough, come together as a nation, like the Bible says, come together as a people, get right, act accordingly, and self-govern. Because you can't ask somebody who hates you to govern you. That's what we've been doing. Every time we go and vote, I seen a brother on Facebook, or not Facebook, excuse me. I seen a brother on TikTok. He was like, why won't Kamala Harris say something about Clarence? Why won't Kamala Harris say something about him? Why won't Kamala say something about Marcellus? Because she don't give a damn. Neither does Donald Trump. They don't care. They are arms of the system. Black people are something that they go and dust off every 4 years to try to get a few more votes. It's not as if they truly care about us. I thought we would have learned this lesson after Obama. I wasn't even in the truth at the time. After Obama's second term, after Obama's first term, I was like, damn, I said, it's still kind of hell out here for niggas. Midway into Obama's second term, I was like, yeah, we gotta. When he ran again for his second campaign, I was like, yeah, I guess we gotta vote for him just because we gotta do it, right? We gotta do it. I guess maybe he'll do something this time. Halfway through his second term, I realized this is not a nigga. He's not for us. He's just another thing. He's just another cog for the system to replace. He didn't come to stir anything up or change anything up. And because I was blind and I couldn't see it, I believed that he would do something different. When he is the same as this judge I present before you. I present before you right here. This white woman, she's exactly like Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, any politician would like to name, the governor over Missouri, whoever is putting my brother to death. This is exactly the type of people that you think are going to better your life. No, we're going to better our lives. We are going to do it. This is something I'm proposing to you is very revolutionary. This thing I'm proposing to you is very different. It's very new. It requires you to do something you've never done before. But you're going to have to do it. If you care about blacks and Hispanics, you care about your children, you care about yourself, you're going to need to follow the instructions laid before you, given to you by God. And first things first, you got to love your brother. You got to love your brother. What does that mean? You can't leave your husband because he made you mad. You can't go make a baby and leave your man. Something I like to channel every time I get mad at my wife. You know what I do, Kakaza? I remind myself who I really don't like.
Right.
I remind myself who I really don't like. Every time a brother, and I know I do this a lot. Look, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm perfect in the sense of not offending my brother or whatever. But something I do if a brother were to offend me, I try to remember before I be like, man, this nigga making me mad. You know who I remember? Who really make me mad.
Right. Right.
That's why this lesson is important. That's why I'm trying to teach Blacks, Hispanics, Natives this lesson. Because it will help you forgive Black people. This will help you forgive your people and love your people. Because it'll put something into your eye for the future. Kind of like if you have a child, you'll want to work harder for them. So life is a little easier for them. Well, I know loving Black people became a lot easier when I realized who needs all my hate, who needs all my disdain. You think you're going to court? You think you're going to go into court and get some mercy because you're young or you're a woman or you need some help or you had life tough? This judges like this, presidents that are on that debate stage, they don't give a damn. You could go to jail. It could be your first time. You could have been innocent, and they're going to send you to jail, and they're not going to care. And they can put you on death row, and they'll go to sleep, and they'll wake up and not think about you. Even if 100,000 people call their phone, even if 1 million people call their phone, they won't care. Now, what are you going to do? You're going to fight me because I'm telling you that you need to forget them. You need to forget them and love your people. Or are you going to do what's wise? Do what's intelligent? Do what's right? And you're going to say, forget them. Forget them. They don't need. Look, do it like this. I know it might be hard at first. Do it like this. Forget them like they just don't need help. They don't need help like Black people need help. They don't need compassion. You see a white woman crying, you just don't give her no emotion because she don't need help like a Black woman crying would. A black man in trouble needs more help than a white man in trouble. That makes sense in your mind. That's how you're going to have to live your life before we get right, before this injustice is corrected. I'm going to give one last video, and I'm going to warn you with this last video. I'm going to try to warn you of the things to come. Warn you of if you want to be a criminal in America, this is exactly the thing in store for you. Another part of my lesson is how Black people are some of the worst criminals on the planet. Commander General Yohana said it best. He said, I believe I'm getting this right. He said Black people are some of the worst criminals. He said, y'all go and try to shoot up the block. Y'all miss the person you're shooting at and go shoot the kid in the house next door, the little girl in the house behind him, and XYZ. And that's the truth, man. I'm gonna get it right here with this.
RJ Flossie would say, when I spin the beers, I bet I make it back. This refers.
So this is before I start this video. This is a one gang going to attack another gang. This is the gang of a very famous rapper, and he is instigating his gang members to go and attack the ops, go and slide on the ops or whatever the case might be. And one of them goes to go do it. Now, I've listened to this story probably about 80% through. They do this multiple times, and every time they do it, the result is the same as this time right here.
to the Vanderveers estate, a Folk Nation project. Well, after posting this, he would actually come through on his promise. August 6, 2020, RJ Flossie drives to the Folk Nation area in a rented Mercedes C300. He passes through the infamous Vanderveer estates where members can usually be found, and on Foster Avenue, he spots 5 rival members outside.
There are 5 people outside he sees, and he goes to do a drive-by. All right.
Thankfully, nothing was hit but plywood, but for some reason, RJ Flossie thought differently. Later that night,
Black people are some of the worst criminals on the planet. When you go slide, you have all this hatred and indignation inside of you, and you are told to direct it back towards a Black person, back towards a Black man, back towards a Black woman, or whatever it might be. Well, that's just not true, brother. You all that, and it shows in this brother's poor execution of a hit. Not that he should have good execution, but he should. What I'm saying is, Black people are not good criminals. Opposed to this oppressor earlier in the class, who would allege that Black people are the most violent people on the planet Earth. Black people are the most violent people in America, he would suppose. Well, that's just not true. It's just not true. We're locked up for things we haven't done. Given trumped up charges. And if we are that violent man that you would think us of, well, we're gonna miss. We're gonna go and try to go kill another Black person, not white people. We're gonna try to go kill another Black person, and it's not gonna go through. It's just we're gonna go to the opposite, shoot them up, and most of the time we're not even gonna hit anybody, and that's crazy. That's crazy for us to have the most to be supposedly labeled the most violent people in this country. When you have serial killers like Jeffrey Dahmer, you have mass trafficking, child trafficking for slavery, and you got literally corporations trafficking children from across the border to go work in slaughterhouses and McDonald's. Do you think I'm making that up? Google it. That's just what this country has done to us. Blacks, Hispanics, Natives, get in line, follow the true love that Christ spoke about, and get with your brothers and sisters here in the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. All right, with that, I'm gonna close out the class. To the brothers, Yahweh Shemal Atah Ba'Hashem, or Salaki, Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatah. To the sisters, Yahweh Shemal Atah Ba'Hashem Yahshua.